When you think about what Stephen Sondheim changed and created, every single one of his musicals is different. They were never duplicates of each other. Everyone was an original. And we're going to pick up with where we left off last week, which was literally with A Little Night Music. Uh, this is really one of my favorites. It's just an absolutely perfect musical. Every bit of characterization is perfectly drawn, and these characters all are motivated in the most clever of ways. So after Follies, they decided they wanted to do. He and Hal Prince decided they wanted to do a farce. And a musical is a farce. He had had an experience with this. With the funny thing happened on the way to the Forum, but the idea of doing this as a another new musical idea really seemed quite interesting. And they went to first uh, on Jean Ennui, and Jean Ennui had a play called Afternoon at a Chateau, and this is what they thought they would use. But Ennui told Sondheim, "Look, I'm happy to let you do this as long as Leonard Bernstein writes the music." And Sondheim very specifically said, "I don't need Lenny Bernstein writing my music," and they looked for something else. And essentially, what they came up with, and Ingmar Bergman agreed, was Smiles of a Summer Night, the story of an aging actress and a love affair that she had had, and how she wants to rekindle the relationship she had with this man that she hadn't seen in about 14 years. That's sort of the essence of it. But it starts in a little bit of a background. It starts with this lawyer who's 44 years old. He's lost his wife. He has a 19-year-old son, and he remarries his best friend's 19-year-old daughter. Well, you add that into the mix, and a year into their relationship, they've yet to consummate it. And he keeps trying to figure out how he's going to do that. Well, he buys theater tickets and comes home and takes a nap. And while he's taking his nap, his wife hears him dream about he mutters the name Desiree Armfelt out loud, which is the actress who he had known. We don't know this yet as part of the play. And it goes from there. So I'm going to walk you through this. This is the original opening of A Little Night Music, and you'll get to see how all of this starts to play out.
I promise soon I won't shy away.
Very odd. I see the.
Soon I promise soon I won't shy away. Dear old soon I want to soon whatever you say, even now when we're close and we touch and you're kissing my brow, I don't mind it too much, and you'll have to admit I'm endearing. I keep things humming. I'm not domineering. What's one small shortcoming? And think of how I adore you. Think of how much you love me. If I were perfect for you, wouldn't you tire of me? So
Hold on, I'm admitting people to the waiting from the waiting room.
Henrik, that racket. Your father's sleeping. When you're close and we touch, I'll be nighty and you're kissing my brow.
And he utters the final note, Desiree, at which point his wife gets very nervous. Well, as we continue on, his wife runs out. They go to the theater. His wife runs out when Desiree Armfeldt recognizes Frederick sitting in the audience, and he goes to visit her quickly. After he escorts his wife home, he comes back to Desiree's rooms.
Some things, schnapps for example, improve with age.
Well, let us hope that proves true of your little bride. So, you took her home, tucked her up in her cot with her rattle and her woolly penguin.
Figuratively speaking.
And then you came to me.
I wish you'd ask me why.
Why did you come to me?
For old time's sake? For curiosity? To boast about my wife? To complain about her, perhaps? Oh, hell, why am I being such a lawyer about it this afternoon when I was taking my nap?
So you take afternoon naps now?
Hush. I had the most delightful dream.
About?
You.
Ah. What did we do?
Well, as a matter of fact, we were in that little hotel in Malmö. We'd been basking in the sun all day.
When my back got so burned, it was an agony to lie down, so you...
As vivid as... Well, very vivid. So you see, my motives for coming here are what might be called mixed. Funny?
No, not at all.
How familiar all this is.
Oh, yes, nothing's changed. Uppsala 1 week, Örebro the next. The same old inevitable routine.
But it still has its compensation.
Yes. No. Yes.
That's a rather ambiguous answer. You must, at least at times, be lonely.
Dear Frederick, if you're inquiring about my love life, rest assured it's quite satisfactory.
I see. And if I may ask, at the moment?
A dragoon. A very handsome, very married dragoon with, I'm afraid, the vanity of a peacock, the brain of a pea, but the physical proportions
Don't specify the vegetable, please. I am easily deflated. Desiree.
Oh, Frederick.
Desiree,
Yes, dear.
That is, perhaps a little more schnapps.
Help yourself.
Who's this?
That? Oh, my daughter.
Your daughter? I had no idea.
She happened.
She's charming. Where is she now?
She's in the country with my mother. She used to tour with me, but then one day Mother swept up like the wrath of God and saved her from me. You never knew my mother. She always wins our battles. I think perhaps a little schnapps for me, too.
Oh, yes, of course.
I apologize for all this squalor.
On the contrary, I have always associated you very happily with... chaos.
So,
Where is she now?
she's in the car, scholar.
On the contrary, both, I expect. She lightens my sadness, she livens my days, she bursts with a kind of madness my well-ordered ways, my happiest mistake, the ache of my life. You must meet my wife. She bubbles with pleasure, she glows with surprise, disrupts my accustomed pleasure, and ruffles my ties. I don't know even now quite how it began. You must meet my wife, my Anne. 1,000 winds to which I give in, since the smallest tear turns me ashen. I never dreamed that I could live in so completely demented, contented a fashion. So sun-like, so winning, so unlike a wife. I do think that I'm beginning to show signs of life. Don't ask me how at my age one still can grow. If you met my wife, you'd know.
Dear Frederick, I'm just longing to meet her sometime.
She sparkled,
How pleasant,
she twinkled,
how nice.
her youth is a sort of present,
Whatever the price,
the incandescent wonder
light.
of my life. You must meet my wife.
Yes, I must. I really must. Now.
She flutters,
How charming.
she twitters,
My word.
she floats.
Isn't that alarming? What is she? A bird?
She makes me feel like what?
A very old man?
Yes, no,
No.
but
I must meet your Gertrude.
my Anne.
Sorry, Anne.
She loves my voice, my walk, my mustache, the cigar, in fact, that I'm smoking. She'll watch me puff until it's just ash. Then she'll save the cigar butt.
Bizarre, but you're joking.
She dotes on
Your dimple.
my snoring.
Oh, dear.
The point is she's really simple.
Yes, that much seems clear.
She gives me funny names,
Like-
all dry as dust.
Wouldn't she just?
You must meet my wife.
If I must. Yes, I must.
A sea of winds that I submerge in, yet so lovable in repentance. Unfortunately still a virgin, but you can't force a flower.
Don't finish that sentence. She's monstrous.
She's frightened.
Unfeeling.
One verse, she'd strike you as unenlightened.
No, I'd strike her first.
Her reticence, her apprehension.
Christ, yes, Frederick.
You must meet my wife.
Let me get my hand on my knife.
What was that?
I must meet your wife. Yes, I must. A virgin?
A virgin.
11 months.
11 months.
No wonder you dreamed of me.
Well, at least it was you I dreamed of, which indicates a kind of retroactive fidelity, doesn't it?
At least.
Desiree,
Yes, dear.
would it seem insensitive if I were to ask you can't say it.
Say it, darling.
Would you?
Of course. What are old friends for? Wait till you see the bedroom. Stockings all over the place. A rather rusty hip bath. And the Virgin Mary over the headboard.
Amazing. Just amazing. You get the dialogue, you get the characters. This, of course, is from the original with Glynis Johns, Hermione Gingold playing her mother. And the number that you are about to hear next is this one, sung by her mother, commenting on the life she had as a highly well-compensated courtesan.
We
Sung by
have a
Angela
little
Lansbury.
unexpected bit of entertainment from yours truly at this point. And Stephen and Cameron are going to sit over there. And listen. I'm not going to sing something you don't already know, Stephen. You understand that? But I would add that in 1975, there was a wonderful production of A Little Night Music. And in that production, my darling, dear, dear friend was Gene Simmons, and also, of course, the great Hermione Gingold, who played the role of Madame Armfeld, a very ancient old bird of a woman who had been a great courtesan in her day, and during this little song that I'm going to sing for you, discusses her past. At the villa of the Baron de Signac, where I spent a somewhat infamous year. At the villa of the Baron de Signac, I had ladies in attendance, fireable pendants, liaisons. What's happened to them? Liaisons today. Disgraceful. What's become of them? Some of them hardly pay their shoddy way. What once was a rare champagne is now disdainable hock. What once was a villa at least is digs. What once was a Galway train is now just a simple little frock. What once was a sumptuous feast is figs. Not even figs. Raisins. Liaisons. Oh dear, well, where was I? Where am I? Oh yes. At the palace of the Duke of Ferrara, who was prematurely deaf, but a dear. At the palace of the Duke of Ferrara, I acquired some position, plus a tiny tuition. Liaisons, what's happened to them? Liaisons today. To see them, indiscriminate women, it pains me more than I can say. The lack of taste that they display. Where is style? Where is skill? Where is forethought? Where's discretion of the heart? Where's passion in the art? Where's craft? With a smile and a will, but with more thought, I acquired a chateau extravagantly overstuffed. Too many people muddle sex with mere desire, and when emotions intervene, the nets descend. It should on no account perplex, or worse, inspire. It's but a pleasurable means to measurable end. Why does no one comprehend? Well, let us hope this lunacy is just a trend. Oh, now let me see, where was I? Oh, yes. At the castle of the King of the Belgians, we would visit through a false chiffonier. In the castle of the King of the Belgians, when things got rather touchy, deeded me a duchy. Liaisons, what's happened to them? Liaisons today. Untidy. Take my daughter, I taught her, I tried my best to point the way. I even named her Desiree. In a world where the kings are employers, where the amateur prevails and delicacy fails to pay. In a world where the princes are lawyers, what can anyone expect except to recollect this song?
Now, many years later, she actually played the part in the revival with Bernadette Peters. But can you imagine doing that with Stephen Sondheim sitting off to your right? I can't imagine. But the lyrics of that, one of my very favorite lines of all of Sondheim is indiscriminate women. And I mean, it's just, oh my God, the rhyming. Of course, we're going to back up. And all of this comes to fruition when Desiree decides to invite Frederick for a weekend in the country. And this is how Act One ends. It's brilliant storytelling, all set into an enormous story of different singers. This is from, I believe, about a 1987 concert version done at Lincoln Center. And that's Paul Gemgiani, the favorite conductor.
Ma'am, an invitation here, ma'am, delivered by hand. And ma'am, I noticed the stationery's engraved and very grand. Petra, how too exciting, just when I need it. Petra, such elegant writing, so chic, you hardly can read it. What do you think? Who can it be? Even me? No, here, let me. Your presence, just think of it, Petra, is kindly. It's at a chateau, requested, etc., Madame Leonora Arvo. No! A weekend in the country. We're invited. What a horrible plot. A weekend in the country. I'm excited. No, you're not. A weekend in the country. Just imagine. It's completely depraved. A weekend in the country. It's insulting. It's engraved. It's that woman. It's that Armfeld. The actress. The fool. She may hope to leave her charm belt, but she's mad if she thinks I would be such a fool as to weekend in the country. How insulting. And I've nothing to wear. A weekend in the country. Here. The last place I'm going is there. Guess what an invitation. Guess who begins with an A? Armfelt, is that a relation to the decrepit Desiree? Guess when you're asked to go, sir, see, sir, the date there. Guess where a fancy chateau, sir. Guess too who's lying in wait there, setting her traps, fixing her face.
Darling, perhaps a change of pace. A weekend in the country would be charming and the air would be fresh.
A weekend with that woman.
In the country.
In the flesh.
Like some business with her mother.
See, it's business. Oh, no doubt. But the business with her mother would be hardly the business I worry about.
Just a weekend in the country, smelling jasmine.
Watching little things grow.
A weekend in the country.
Oh!
My darling will simply say no.
Oh. A weekend, how very amusing. A weekend, but also inept. A weekend, of course, for refusing. Au contraire, you must accept. Oh, no! A weekend in the country.
But it's frightful.
You don't understand. A weekend in the country is delightful if it's planned. Wear your hair down like a flower. Don't use makeup, dress in white. She'll grow older by the hour and be hopelessly shattered by Saturday night. Spend a weekend in the country.
We'll accept it.
I had a feeling you would.
A weekend in the country. Yes! It's only polite that we should.
Good.
Well,
I've an intriguing little social item.
What?
Out of the Armfelt family manse.
well, what?
Merely a weekend still, I thought it might amuse you to know who's invited to go this time with his pants.
You told me
I'll give you 3 guesses.
she wouldn't.
Reduce it to 2.
It can't be.
It nevertheless is.
Eggerman.
Rice for 1 for you.
Aha!
Yaha!
Aha!
Uh-huh.
A weekend in the country, we should try.
How I wish you'd been asked.
A weekend in the country, peace and quiet.
We'll go masked.
A weekend in the country.
Uninvited, they'll consider it odd.
A weekend in the country, I'm excited.
Oh my God.
And the shooting should be pleasant if the weather's not too rough. Happy birthday, it's your present.
But-
You haven't been getting out nearly enough. And a weekend in the country.
Just perverted.
Pack my quiver and bow.
A weekend in the country.
But exactly 2:30 we go.
We can.
We shall.
Shall.
I'm getting the car and we're motoring down.
Yes, I'm flirting you on, but I'm staying in town.
Go and pack my suit.
I will.
I
Should pack everything right.
Are you sure it's all right? When we're on, we'll sing the song.
For a weekend in the country, how amusing, how delightfully so. A weekend in the country, while we're losing our control. A weekend in the country, how enchanting, how the manicure wants. A weekend in the country, with the panting and the yawns, and the crickets and the peasants, and the orchards and the hay, with the servants and the peasants. We'll be laying our plans while we're playing croquet for a weekend in the country, so inactive that one has to lie down. A weekend in the country.
A weekend in the country, puppies in the heights, the shallow woodly figures, the frivolous night, the devil's companions know not whom they serve. It might be instructive to observe.
How amusing, how delightfully so. A weekend in the country, while we're losing our control. A weekend in the country, how enchanting, how the manicure wants. A weekend in the country, with the panting and the yawns, with the crickets and the pheasants, and the orchards and the hay, with the servants and the peasants. We'll be laying our plans for a playing croquet for a weekend in the country, so inactive that we'll have to let up. A weekend in the country.
What a fabulous finale to an act. Well, in the second act, of course, the most famous song Stephen Sondheim ever wrote came out of the angst that Glynis Johns was creating because she felt she had nothing to do in the second act. Well, as it turned out, the song was originally supposed to be for the character Frederick. Len Cariou, who created the part, was supposed to be singing. And if you're not sure who Len Cariou is, if you watch Blue Bloods, he plays Tom Selleck's father. I don't know how they pulled that off. He's 84, Tom Selleck is 75, but no one's counting. But in any event, Glynis Johns had a very interesting voice. She could not sustain long phrases. She had a very breathy voice. Sondheim, knowing that, decides to edit the end of each phrase so it ends in a consonant. And then he also knew she had a very limited vocal range, and he wrote the entire song into 9 notes. This is Glynis Johns recreating the song some years later.
Isn't it rich? Are we a pair? Me here at last on the ground, you in midair. Send in the clowns. Isn't it bliss? Don't you approve? One who keeps tearing around, one who can't move. Where are the clowns? Send in the clowns. Just when I'd stopped opening doors, finally knowing the one that I wanted was yours, making my entrance again with my usual flair, sure of my lines, no one is there. Don't you love farce? My fault, I fear. I thought that you'd want what I want. Sorry, my dear. But where are the clowns? Quick, send in the clowns. Don't bother, they're here. Isn't it rich? Isn't it queer? Losing my timing this late in my career. And where are the clowns? There ought to be clowns. Well, maybe next year.
By the way, Glynis Johns is still alive. She's 98 years old. She is the oldest living nominated actress for an Academy Award. Now, I want to show you this. There was a movie made of A Little Night Music. I wouldn't say it's one of the best movie musicals ever made, but wait till you see who played Desiree.
Teasing a canary. Running through a sunlit garden. Or waiting to hug me at the front door as if I'd come home from Timbuktu instead of the municipal courthouse.
Isn't it rich? Are we a pair? Me here at last on the ground, you in midair. Send in the clown. Isn't it bliss? Don't you approve? One who keeps tearing around, one who can't move. Where are the clowns? Send in the clowns. Just when I'd stopped opening doors, finally knowing the one that I wanted was yours, making my entrance again with my usual flair, sure of my lines, no one is there. Don't you love us? My fault, I fear. I thought that you'd want what I want. Sorry, my dear. But where are the clowns? Quick, send in the clowns. Don't bother, they're here.
Desiree, I'm sorry. I should never have come.
It's interesting. This was the perfect cast, and how Prince started directing it, he got bored. He left it to his minions, and the movie was not really well handled. But maybe one of the most magnificent renditions of Send in the Clowns was by Bernadette Peters in the 2012 revival. The cast of Bernadette Peters and Elaine Stritch really was not the perfect cast, because Elaine Stritch was not in great shape at the time. Her memory was not working well, and it really should have been Bernadette Peters and Angela Lansbury as it originally was cast. But here's Bernadette.
Isn't it rich? Are we a pair? Me here at last on the ground, you in midair. Send in the clowns. Isn't it bliss? Don't you approve? One who keeps tearing around, one who can't move. Where are the clowns? Send in the clowns.
Just exquisite, really gut-wrenchingly beautiful. Well, the next musical that they create is not really most people's favorite. It is an odd piece, but they feel, Sondheim and Prince felt, that this was the most perfect musical they ever created. Pacific Overtures, based upon kabuki staging of Admiral Perry's visit to Japan in the 1860s. Everything was done very stylistically, brilliantly created and crafted by Hal Prince, but it never really connected with the audiences. And of all of the Sondheim canon, this is the one you see the least often.
No one knows what was said behind the shutters of the treaty house. The Shogun's counselors kept their story secret. And though the Westerners have their own official version, I would not believe a word of it. What a shame that there is no authentic Japanese account of what took place on that historic day.
Pardon me, I was there.
You were where?
At the treaty house.
At the treaty
there
house.
was a tree.
Which was where?
Very near.
Over here.
Maybe over there, but there were trees then everywhere. May I show you? There were trees then everywhere.
But you were there.
And I was there. Let me show you.
If you please.
I was younger then. I was good at climbing trees. I was younger then. I saw everything. I was hidden all the time. It was easier to climb. I was younger then. I saw everything. Where they came and where they went. I was part of the event. I was someone in a tree. I was younger then. I am in a tree, I am 10, I am in a tree.
I was younger then.
In between the eaves I can see, tell me what I see. I was only 10.
I see men and matting. Some are old, some chatting.
If it happened I was there, I saw everything. I was someone in the tree.
Tell him what I see.
Some of them have gold on their coats.
One of them has gold. He was younger then.
Someone crawls around passing notes.
Someone very old.
Without someone in the tree, nothing happened here. I am hiding in the tree.
I'm a fragment of the day.
If I weren't who's to say, things would happen here the way that they happened here.
It's the fragment of the day.
It's the pebble, not the stream. It's the ripple, not the sea. Not the building, but the beam. Not the garden, but the stone. Not the treaty house. Someone in a tree.
Pardon me, I am here, if you please, I am also
They
here.
kept drinking cups of tea.
They kept sitting on the floor.
They drank many cups of tea. No, we told him that before.
If you please, I am here.
You are where?
In the treaty house,
the treaty
or
house.
very near.
Can you hear?
I'm below,
So I know
underneath the floor, and so I can't see anything. I can hear them, but I can't see anything.
But you can hear.
But I can hear. Shall I listen?
If you please.
I can hear them now. I shall try to shift my knees. I can hear them now. I hear everything. I'm the part that's underneath. With my sword inside my sheath, I can hear them now. One is over me. If they knock, then I appear. I'm a part of what I hear. I'm the fragment underneath. I can hear them
Tell us what you hear.
First I hear a creak and a thump. Now I hear a clink. Then they talk a bit. Many times they shout when they speak. Other times they think or they argue it. I hear floorboards groaning, angry growls, much droning. Since I hear them, they are there. As they argue it, I'm the listener underneath.
Someone reads a list from a box.
Someone talks of laws. Then they fan a bit.
Someone bangs a fist.
Someone knocks. Now there was a pause. Then they argue it. But we won, no you can't, and we won't, but we need it, and we won. Will you grant? If you don't, we concede it.
And they sat through the night, they lit yellow tumblers
I
on
was
the
there.
bed.
If I were you to say, things would happen here say that they're happening. It's the fragment of the day. It's the pebble, not the stream. It's the ripple, not the sea that is happening. Not the building, but the bee. Not the garden, but the stone. Only cups of tea and history. And someone in a dream.
Again, this is maybe the most underappreciated of all the Sondheim works. It's brilliantly constructed, and that scene that sets up the entire story is certainly incredible. It's not one that you see very often for a whole lot of complicated reasons, I suppose. Meanwhile, my very favorite musical is Sweeney Todd. And of course, if I take the first three Sondheim musicals we spoke of and I add this, and it's kind of hard to separate. But Sweeney Todd is certainly a grand masterpiece. And based upon a British play about the controversial did he really exist figure Sweeney Todd, a man who was falsely sentenced on trumped-up charges, sent off to Australia by an evil judge who wanted the man's wife. And Sweeney comes back 15 years later to seek revenge on the judge, is a powerful piece of musical, and in Sondheim's style, almost 80% sung through, which is not what he really liked to write. He didn't like opera. He felt that opera took too long to get the message out, and although music could be beautiful, it was just not his favorite thing. But Sweeney Todd, as originally conceived with Hal Prince, the set was enormous. They actually found these metal components in a factory that was about to be torn down, and it became part of the cast of Sweeney, the staging of Sweeney Todd. This is the opening moment with Angela Lansbury when she meets Sweeney, I think.
What you rush, what you hurry? You gave me such a fright. I thought you was a ghost half a minute. Can't you sit you down, sit. All I meant is that I haven't seen a customer for weeks. Did you come in for a pie, sir? Do forgive me if the head's a little vague. What is that? But you think we have the plague? From the way the people keep avoiding, now you don't. Heaven as I try, sir. Ugh, but there's no one comes in even to inhale. Right you are, sir. Would you like a drop of ale? Mind you, I can't hardly blame them. These are probably the worst pies in London. I know what it takes to take them. I should know I make them, but good now, the worst pies in London. Even that's polite, the worst pies in London. If you doubt it, take a bite. Is that just disgusting? You have to concede it. It's nothing but crusting. You drink this, you'll need it. The worst pies in London. I no wonder with the price of meat what it is when you get it. Never thought I'd live to see the day. Men would think it was a treat, finding poor animals what I die in the street. Mrs. Mooney has a pie shop. Does a business, but I've noticed something weird. Like all her neighbours' cats have disappeared. I have to hand it to her, what I calls enterprise. Popping pussies into pies wouldn't do in my shop. Just a thought of it's enough to make you sick. And I'm telling you that pussycats is quick. Now denying times is hard, sir. Even harder than the worst pies in London. Only lard and nothing more, it's not just revolting, all greasy and gritty. It looks like It's molting and tastes like, well, pity a woman alone with a limited wind and the worst pies in London. Ah, sir, times is hard, times is hard.
Now, she thinks she recognizes Sweeney as Benjamin Barker, the barber that the judge set aside. And when he asks about his wife and daughter, she leaves out a little bit of information as she tells the story of what happened to them. But she sets upon a path to help Sweeney get revenge. And the first thing she wants to do is help him get his tonsorial parlor reopened. She saved his razors, and she encourages him continually to go down this route of vengeance. What she does not tell him is part of the mystery of Sweeney Todd. Now, there's another version that was done by director John Doyle, a British director, who thinks it's interesting to have actors play instruments as well as act their roles. And this is Patti LuPone. I'll just give you a snippet of it.
Oh, wait, what you rush, what you hurry. You gave me such a fright, I thought you was a ghost. Stop a minute, can't you sit you down, sit. All I meant is that I haven't seen a customer for weeks. Did you come here for a pie, sir? If you forgive me, if we had the little lady. What is that? What you think we have to play? From the way that people keep avoiding, no you don't. Heaven doesn't try, sir. But there's no one comes in even to inhale. Right you are so rigid like a drop of ale. Mind you, I can hardly blame them. These are probably the worst pies in London. I know why nobody cares to take them. I should know, I make them. But good now, the worst pies in London. Even them were like the worst pies.
Now, what's so interesting about this is everybody who goes to a Sondheim revival, I would tell you 90% of that audience knows every word in advance. And this was a very different take on the work. Well, through a series of plot developments, the wicked judge happens to come to Sweeney's tonsorial parlor. And the audience, if you don't know the show, you sit there in tension mounting moments while you wait for Sweeney to kill him, and you'll see what happens.
And what may I do for you, sir?
Oh, yes.
A stylish trimming of the hair, a soothing skin massage.
You see, sir, a man infatuate with love, her ardent and eager slave. So fetch the pomade and pumice stone and lend me a more seductive tone, a sprinkling perhaps of French cologne. But first, sir, I think a shave.
The closest I ever gave. Bum, 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 bum,
You're in a merry mood today, Mr. Todd.
'Tis your delight, sir, catching fire from one man to the next.
'Tis true, sir. Love can still inspire the blood to pound the heart leap higher. What more can man require than love, sir?
More than love, sir.
What, sir?
Women.
Ah, yes, women.
Pretty women.
Hmm? Oh, yeah.
my friend. Now to your purpose. Patience, enjoy it. Revenge can't be taken in haste.
And if we wed, you'll be commended, sir.
My lord. And who, may it be said, is your intended, sir? My ward.
Pretty as a rosebud.
Pretty as her mother.
What? What was that?
Nothing, sir, nothing. May we proceed, sir? Pretty women. Fascinating. Sipping coffee. Dancing. Pretty women are a wonder. Pretty women sitting in the window, standing on the stair. Something in them cheers the air. Pretty women
Silhouetted.
stay within you.
Glancing.
Stay forever.
Breathing lightly.
Pretty women. Pretty women. Blowing out their candles. Or combing out their hair. Even when they leave you and vanish, they still are there with you. Pretty women at their mirrors, in their garden, letter writing, picking, weather watching, they make a man sing. Roof of heaven, as you're living. Pretty women, sir, pretty women, here's to pretty women, all the pretty women.
And Anthony, the young man who wants to marry the girl, rushes in. The judge runs out, has nothing to do with him again, and this thickens the plot. Well, they've already got a couple dead bodies laying around. They've got to figure out a way to get rid of them. And this is where Mrs. Lovett comes up with her great idea.
Seems a downright
Portrayed by
shame.
Patty Lupone.
Shame.
Seems an awful waste. Such a nice plump frame. What's his name? Has. Nor it can't be traced. Business needs a lift. That's to be erased. Think of it as thrift, as a gift, if you get my drift. No? Seems an awful waste. I mean, with the price of meat, what it is, when you get it, if you get it. Good, you got it. Take, for instance, Mrs. Mooney and her pie shop. Business never better, using only pussycats and toast. Now a pussy's good for maybe 6 or 7 at the most. And I'm sure they can't compare as far as taste.
Mrs. Lovett, you're a bloody wonder, eminently practical and yet appropriate as always. Mrs. Lovett, how I've lived without you all these years, I'll never know.
Think about it, lots of other gentlemen also becoming for a shame. One thing,
Our choice, how rare. What's the sound of the world out there?
What, Mr. Todd, what is that sound?
Those crunching noises pervading the air.
Yes, Mr. Todd, yes, all around.
It's man devouring man, my dear. And who are we to deny it here? These are desperate times, Mrs. Lovett, and desperate measures are called for.
Here we are, hot from the oven.
What is that?
It's priest. Have a little priest.
Is it really good?
Sir, it's too good, at least. Then again, they don't commit sins of the flesh, so it's pretty fresh.
Awful lot of fat.
Only where it's sat.
Haven't you got poet or something like that?
No, you see, the trouble with poet is how do you know it's deceased? Try the priest.
Have heavenly. Well, not as hearty as Bishop, perhaps, but they're not as bland as Curate either.
And good for business. Always leaves you wanting more. Trouble is, we only get it in Sundays. Lawyer's rather nice.
If it's for a price.
Or just something else, though, to follow, since no one should swallow it twice.
Anything that's lean.
But then if you're British and loyal, you might enjoy Royal Marine. Anyway, it's clean, though of course it tastes of wherever it's been.
Is that Squire on the fire?
Pussy, no, sir, look closer, you'll notice it's grosser.
It's thicker, more like vicar.
No, it has to be grosser, it's green.
The history of the world, my love.
Save a lot of graves, do a lot of relatives favors.
Is those below serving those up above?
Everybody shaves, so there should be plenty of flavor.
How gratifying for once to know that those above will serve those down below.
Now let's see. We've got Tinker.
Something pinker?
Taylor.
Something paler.
Potter.
Something hotter.
Butler.
Something subtler.
Locksmith. Lovely bit of clock.
Maybe for a lark.
Then again, they're sweet if you want it cheap and you like it dark. Try the financier. Peak of his career.
That looks pretty rank.
Well, he drank. No, it's bank cashier. Never really sold. Maybe it was old.
Have you any beetle?
Next week, so I'm told. Beetle isn't bad till you smell it and notice how well it's been greased. Stick to priest. Now, this may be a bit stringy, but then, of course, it's fiddle player.
No, this isn't fiddle player. It's piccolo player.
How can you tell?
It's piping hot.
Then blow on it first.
The history of the world, my sweet.
Oh, Mr. Todd, what does it tell?
It's who gets eaten and who gets to eat.
And Mr. Todd, who gets to sell?
But fortunately, it's also clear that everybody goes down well with beer.
Since Marine doesn't appeal to you, how about Rear Admiral?
Too salty. I prefer general.
With or without his privates? With his extra?
What is that?
It's fop, finest in the shop. Oh, we have some shepherd's pie peppered with actual shepherd on top. And I've just begun. He's a politician so oily, he's served with a doily, not one.
Put it on a bun. Well, you never know if it's going to run.
Try the fryer, fried and stryer.
No, the clergy is really too coarse and too mealy.
An actor that's compactor.
Yes, and always arrives overdone. Come again when you have judge on the menu.
Wait, true, we don't have judge yet. But we've got something you might fancy even better.
What is that?
Executioner!
Have charity towards the world, my pet.
Yes, I know, my love.
We'll take the customers that we can get.
I'm on alone, my love.
We'll not discriminate, great from small. No, we'll serve anyone, meaning anyone, and to anyone at all.
What makes Sweeney Todd work is that dark humor. And, you know, it really is just such a fabulous thing. I'm sitting here listening to those lyrics. I just love every one of them. Shepherd's pie peppered with actual shepherd on top. Oh, my God, we quote that all the time around here. Well, let me just go. In the second act, Mrs. Lovett is hoping that Sweeney is falling in love with her, and she's seeing how their life is going to go.
Mr. Todd. I'm so happy I could eat you up, I really could. You know what I'd like to do, Mr. Todd? What I dream, if the business is good, where I'd really like to go in a year or so. Don't you want to know?
Of course.
Do you really want to know?
Yes, I do.
Well, I've always had this dream, ever since I was a skinny little slip of a thing. And my rich Aunt Letty took me down to the seaside on August bank holiday, making those little castles in the sand. Oh, I can still feel me toes wiggling there in the briny. Ooh, by the sea, Mr. Todd, that's the life I covet. By the sea, Mr. Todd, oh, I know you'd love it. You and me, Mr. T, we could be alone in a house what we'd almost own down by the sea.
Anything you say.
Wouldn't that be smashing? With the sea at our gate, we'll have kippered herring. What have swum to us straight from the Straits of Bering. Every night in the kip, when we're through our kippers, I'll be there slipping off your slippers by the sea, with the fishy splashing by the sea. Wouldn't that be smashing down by the sea?
Anything you say.
I can see us waking, the breakers breaking, the seagulls squawking. Ooh, ooh, I do me baking, then I go walking with you. I warm me bones on the esplanade. I've tea and scones with me gay young blade. Then I'll knit a sweater while you write a letter. Let's wake up and
Anything you say.
Think a snug it'll be underneath our flannel when it's just you and me and the English Channel in a cozy retreat, kept all neat and tidy. We'll have chums over every Friday by the sea. Don't you love the weather? By the sea, we'll go on together. By the seaside, by the beautiful sea.
Well, Mrs. Lovett has this young boy that is staying with her, and he's starting to get the idea that something's going on not quite so well.
Nothing's gonna harm you, not while I'm around.
Of course not, dear. Why should it?
Nothing's gonna harm you, no sir, not while I'm around.
What do you mean, a man?
Demons are prowling everywhere nowadays.
Oh, they are, dear.
I'll send them howling, I don't care, I got ways.
Oh, of course you do. What a sweet, affectionate child it is.
No one's gonna hurt you, no one's gonna dare.
Well, that's a comfort, I'm sure.
Others can desert you, not to worry, whistle, I'll be there.
Here, have a nice bum-bum.
Demons will charm you with a smile for a while, but in time, nothing can harm you, not while I'm around.
He's figured it out, and this sets the end of the play into motion. Well, we're going to continue next week with the Sondheim saga, and we'll talk about Merrily We Roll Along, the end of the relationship with Hal Prince, and then what he did after. I see there's 2 comments in the chat. I just want to see what they were. Okay, people thanking me. I appreciate that. If anybody has any questions, what I will do now is unmute so you all can comment. Allow participants to unmute. So I don't know if anybody has anything you'd like to share or add. But boy, I'll tell you, some of what we watched today are some among my very favorite musical theater moments, and I sure hope you all enjoyed them as well. Anybody have anything you'd like to share or talk about? I'm here. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Just unmute. Go ahead, Elaine. Just unmute yourself. I think you already are.
did, yeah. Well, first of all, I want to thank you for doing this week after week. I'm sure you never thought it would be years after years, but thank you. Also, there's a wonderful documentary on Apple TV on Broadway. It goes from a chorus line through Hamilton. It's really very good.
That's for mentioning that. I have seen it. I think it's very good. I just saw something on YouTube this morning that I'm going to send out. Hugh Jackman, they just started previews of Music Man this week, and evidently the leading lady, Sutton Foster, had to miss a performance, and the understudy went on with 5 hours notice. And I'm going to send out the clip. What Hugh Jackman said about the understudies and the swings. I mean, that's why Hugh Jackman is Hugh Jackman. And I just got another group. I have 4 sold out trips, and I've just added a 5th. It's going to be August the 10th. To miss Hugh Jackman and the Music Man is really going to be one of those moments that people are going to be talking about for a very long time. So look for the invite for August the 10th for the Music Man. I'm going to send it out after the new year. But know that it's coming. If you're interested in it, you can even send me an email now, and I'll keep a record of that. But to miss the Music Man, I think is going to be missing something very, very major. And the other thing as well, they really feel the Music Man is going to be the thing that really brings Broadway back. People have been waiting for this for many of you for 2 years, over 2 years now, that are going with me. So, you may want to tune into that. Anything anybody else wants to share or add?
Steve, what was the origin? What's the origin for Sweeney Todd?
There was a play. There were 2 plays written about it. One was updated. I think the guy's name was Ward Bond. And there was always, it's kind of like a Jack the Ripper thing. It was a myth that's always been around in London. Whether it actually happened or not, no one's ever really been able to prove. But it is a story that has been for 150 years part of British culture. And there was this play written about it, and Sondheim saw it and thought that he'd always wanted to write a musical murder mystery. And this was ultimately the play that got him that inspiration, and it is a masterpiece. There's no doubt about it. It's really my favorite. The last time I did a role live, I actually played one of the bad guys in Sweeney Todd. It's fun to play a bad guy. And one of my sons was about 11, and he used to go to rehearsals with me. He used to blow him away that I would come out of the chute with blood all over me. How did they do that? Anyway, it was a great thing. The music is just absolutely challenging, and it was fun to do. So I've really loved it. Anyway, great question. Thanks for asking. Anybody have anything else you'd like to know? Well, I want to wish everybody a really wonderful holiday season. We've all been through so much. I've enjoyed going back to the theater with those of you that have joined with me to go. It's meant a lot. I'm very thankful to everybody for, everything that's gone on with these trips and everything else. It just really has been something. And Ruth, I see your message. That's great. Okay, thanks everybody. I will talk to you all next Friday. See you soon. Merry Christmas to you all. Bye-bye.
It's cold in here.